to be part of the signing ceremony for the WHO Global Digital Health Certification Network uptake ceremony. You know, a warm welcome specifically to our European Commissioner for Health and Food Safety, Mrs. Stella Kyriakides. A warm welcome also to Ms. Sandra Galina, Director General, DG Santé, and her team. We have with us from WHO side our Director General, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, and our Chef de Cabinet, Razia Pense. I think without further ado, I would like to give the floor for introductory remarks to Dr. Tedros. Please, Dr. Tedros, you have the floor.
Thank you, Katerina. Your Excellency, Commissioner Stella Kyriakides, and Director General Sandra Galina, dear colleagues and friends. Thank you for joining us today, and I also acknowledge Commissioner Thierry Breton and Director General Roberto Viola, who could unfortunately not be with us today. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the value of digital health solutions in facilitating access to health services. While the emergency phase of the COVID-19 pandemic is now over, investments in digital infrastructure remain an important resource for health systems and for economies and societies at large. Like many countries, the European Union made significant investments in COVID-19 certificates to help people move around as safely as possible during the pandemic. The European Union's certification system was used by all 27 EU member states and more than 50 other countries. Building on the success of the EU system, WHO is proud today to launch the Global Digital Health Certification Network. So thank you so much to European Union for the excellent certification system that you have transferred to us, and we have the chance to build on it. WHO will begin operations of the network today with the existing COVID-19 certificate as a global public good. Soon after, we will expand this infrastructure by incorporating other use, such as a digitized international certificate of vaccination, routine immunization cards, and international patient summaries. WHO will continue to work with all regions to ensure that the network is accessible globally, incorporating relevant experiences and standards from other countries and regions. It's important to emphasize that privacy is key. WHO will not have any access to any personal health data. We will only maintain a directory of the public keys that can be used to verify the authenticity of a member state's digital health records. The Global Digital Health Certification Network will be an important part of our efforts to strengthen health systems and support our member states to prepare better for the next epidemic or pandemic. The network could also play a crucial role in cross-border humanitarian situations by ensuring people have access to their health records and credentials as they move across borders due to conflict, the climate crisis, and other emergencies. WHO would like to thank again the European Commission for its partnership and support, and for advocating the EU member states and other participants that they migrate to the WHO network. I also thank the EU and WHO teams who worked hard to bring us to this moment. We very much value the European Commission's technical and financial support.
What else? World Health Organization. I'm going to talk about it. So if you are to destroy the old existing system, you usher in a new existing system where one power controls everything. This is brilliant mindset. So we are not going to have national sovereignty. No, we are going to have internationalism must replace nationalism. So we need to have one power that controls everything with enormous might and authority. And that one power is what? WHO, World Health Organization. Together with the European Union, it is in the midst of the COVID. And in order to put away the old system, European Union quickly develops this digital passport. And the EU only developing it. Now there is the push G20 summit. Young push. This thing has been, they've sat and planned it. Till the moment they're striking, I have shown you a video here. In 2019, they sat, World Economic Forum here, they sat, they planned, they said it. There was going to be a pandemic in 2020. They said it. And you see, I have shown you those videos. And these occult guys out there, they will tell me what I'm supposed to put into my body. Under coercion, under duress. And my own people who have preached liberty of conscience sit and endorse it. Oh my goodness. So World Health Organization, I think 2 years ago, and EU adopt global digital passport. That's it. And what else? Just in April. Now, in this month in May, they are going to finalize it. And that was the push. A central body, because it's a centralized system, communism, to phase out anything individuality and then come up with a universal soup kitchen and then to control every single person. So they have, because they want to crash the old system and then you introduce a new system. So the moment the COVID broke out, World Health Organization, no man drafted what we call Pandemic Preparedness Treaty. Let's not trust these global elites, because they are not in for our well-being. Man drafted Pandemic Preparedness Treaty. 4 years time they will implement it.
Almost
It is a historic treaty.
we would still be
5 years after the COVID-19 pandemic upended economies and healthcare systems, the member countries of the World Health Organization have agreed on a draft pandemic treaty that sets guidelines for the international response to the next global health crisis. As early as 2021, the WHO was tasked with drawing up guidelines for an improved global response to a future pandemic. Negotiations concluded early Wednesday on an agreement expected to be adopted next month at the UN Health Agency's annual meeting in Geneva. At the core of the landmark document is a pathogen access and benefit sharing system, which would allow quick sharing of pathogen data with pharmaceutical companies to find cures more quickly. The treaty was drafted without the United States, which left the WHO and the negotiations under orders of US President Donald Trump in January.
April! The draft report is ready. All countries have signed onto it. There will be, now I'm going to share with you the enormous powers that the World Health Organization has been given. They break every national boundary and individual boundary. Once there is crisis, they come in and control everything, including the supply chain, because the economy is tied to the whole no buy no sell thing. And our people, please, there's the right time. The right time is always connected. So I'm not surprised that the World Health Organization is so instrumental, because according to the prophecy that my Bible and Spirit of Prophecy tells me, it is connected with the right arm. The right arm is the health and healing message. So it is healing. But then, what is beneath that healing balsam? It strikes like a serpent. Now, let me share with you this news item before we continue. This is April, let me check the date. Yes, April 23, 2025. Dr. Peter McCullough. Dr. McCullough sounds alarm after study shows COVID death skyrocketed after vaccinations. This is unbelievable. Dr. Peter McCullough shared the findings of a study that confirmed vaccination not only failed. So that is one thing. Vaccination and the world will become so dumb. The world says anything and then we move with it. Said the findings of a study that confirmed vaccination not only failed but made things worse. We shut the economy because we are destroying the old existing order in order to usher in a new existing order. It didn't require shutting down of economy. It didn't require restriction of movement. Everything they said, I've shown it all here. Evidence in our but people become so dumb. We are not even watching. We are not observing. There was no need for lockdown. There was no need for nose masking. There was no need for vaccination. There was no need for shutting down of the economy. There was no need for any of them. Maybe now we're forced. They need because they have the plan. You destroy the old order through crisis, and then you bring out a new existing order. And the idea about what a touchy nipa seven monimua a book cry when you tie the body, the health. Then I want to say the right arm. A link with the third angel. When it's about health, hey, and they will impose fear, scare, fear, figures. They throw about. Just the study shows the evidence is there. America or more admitted said it was no longer the pandemic of the unvaccinated, but rather it was the pandemic of the vaccinated. More vaccine, more cases, more death. Alrighty, and through. Dr. Peter McCullough shared the findings of a study that confirmed vaccination not only failed but made things worse, with the highest death surges in the most heavily vaccinated populations. So it was a blessing. In fact, Africa have vaccines. It was a blessing in the most heavily vaccinated populations. Article was a paradoxical increase in global COVID-19. It is paradoxical. Global COVID-19 death with vaccination variant coverage. That is World Health Organization estimate 2023. Have they even shared it to the world? Also, I want to hear. Have they even shared? They will even share it to you. Meanwhile, they have all the evidence. Say the vaccines were more harmful than the COVID, than the disease itself. Who will foment this evil agenda against humanity? Who will do that? What is that? So this is the global pandemic treaty. Now, this guy tells us, he gives us the bits and pieces of the enormous powers that has been given to the World Health Organization.
You know, you hear about some people in our world advocating for a global world government, a governance that would allow some individual or small group of individuals to control the rest of the world. That's been the goal of despots and dictators throughout human history, but we're seeing it happen before our very eyes. Today on Prophetic Perspective, we have a very special guest who has just returned from a meeting of the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann, who served for a number of years in the U.S. House of Representatives and ran for President of the United States, continues to serve as Dean of Regents College and as a voice for conservative and Christian principles here in America and around the world. Congresswoman Bachmann, tell us a little bit about what you experienced when you went to Geneva, Switzerland, and were a part of at least the audience listening to all the things going on at the World Health Organization.
I was there watching, observing they weren't shy. They weren't reticent to tell us what was going on. What was very sad is there wasn't one member of the U.S. House of Representatives that was there for this meeting. There wasn't one member of the United States Senate that was there. They managed to find airplanes and attend World Economic Forum meetings, but they didn't attend this meeting. And this has such profound consequences for every person on earth, because the plan envisioned is that every person on earth would come under the dominion and control of the World Health Organization. It was just Monday of this week, 1 week after the World Health Assembly concluded, that there was an absolute bombshell press letter that went out that said the European Union has already developed a global digital passport that would regulate the ability of people to take transportation, and it would also regulate our health issues. That global digital passport, which essentially would be a QR code on your mobile phone, an individual would have to be in compliance with the mandates of the World Health Organization in order to be able to travel, in order to be able to move about. So this was announced on Monday. They didn't wait to pass amendments or pass a global treaty. They announced that the World Health Organization is adopting what Europe came up with that already covers 80 countries out of the 194. The question is, when will the United States go into this system? Because this is how you enforce global government, through this global digital passport. It is a reality. And Monday it was announced that the WHO will take over the European digital passport. And they also stated this will be the first building block, presumably merging digital currency, digital health records. Our entire life will eventually be merged onto this digital QR code.
Now, having said all that, now this is Bible prophecy. The World Health Organization can do everything. The bankers, the economic world, the technological world. So we must have digital passport. Now there's digital wallet, which has been launched by the European Union. I'm going to play that also. The digital wallet and then the digital money. These are means you bet to me are controlling so easily. They've pushed in all these things rapidly, so fast. So you can easily control and manipulate it. Now digital money has no privacy. You have no privacy. Whatever transaction you are doing, it is so clean. You can just watch it. It takes away privacy. It takes away individual freedom. What is this? This is what Pope and Klaus Schwab and their cohorts have pushed, the globalists have pushed into the system to destroy the old existing system and bring about the new existing system called the New World Order. But then, there is but one power, which according to Bible prophecy must move and orchestrate it. But that power right now is at odds with them. That is how interesting prophecy is. And that needs an eye of faith to see how seemingly two opposing forces will unite in one way or the other. And that power is the second beast of Revelation 13. That is America. Trump, as we speak, has planned to withdraw the US from the World Health Organization. He is not in line with anything that they are doing. But according to the Bible, there will be a control system to control no by no. We see that being implemented through the WHO, through the European Union, and all these international bodies. So how do they agree? But we know from prophecy that in one way or the other, they were at odds. The Pharisees and the Sadducees. But when they found a common enemy, they united. They were at odds. But they came together. Pilate and Herod, they were at odds. But when they found a common enemy, they became friends. So, the Bible has said, because according to the Bible, it is the second beast that is to initiate this process. And that is going to be my last quote. It's Spalding and Megan collection, page 1, paragraph 4. I saw that the horned beast had a dragon's mouth. Now, speaking about the first beast, that is the prophecy, and that his power was in his head, and that the decree would go out of his mouth. Sorry, speaking about the second beast. Then I saw the mother of harlots. He's quoting clearly from Revelation chapter 17 verse 5. That the mother was not the daughters. Very clear. These are distinct entities. The sea beast and the land beast are not the same, but separate and distinct from them. She has had a day. The prophecy has had a day during the Dark Ages, and it is past. And her daughters, the Protestant sects, were the next to come on the stage and act out the same mind. And that is why when Trump won, it was like a tsunami to the world, because he didn't have the same mindset like the global elites. But this is the beauty of the Bible. How are things going to shape up? We will live to see. What are the intricacies and all the underpinnings and the place and the counterplace? As far as Peter Thiel, there's someone called Peter Thiel, we'll talk about him in the future. Elon Musk, what are they really developing? We will talk about that. And how there will be a synergy somewhere along the line. So the Protestant sects were the next to come on the stage and act out the same mind that the mother had when she persecuted the saints. So the Protestant sect will come in to act out the same mind. And with that minds, they had a control system. They had a communist system. A king, isn't Trump king? We talked about that. A king who controls virtually everything. So the Protestant mind must have the same controlling system that the mother had when she persecuted the saints. I saw that as the mother has been declining in power, the daughters had been growing. And when the daughter began to speak, Trump, you see, the whole world is in a state of disarray. And soon they will exercise the power once exercised by the mother. That is what we are seeing. That is what we are expecting. That is what we are seeing. And that is what we want to see play out. So, may God help us. So the systems to control, know, buy, and sell in recent years have been pushed in there or out there. All that we are waiting is for this power to begin its implementation. In summary, these two guys have a lot in common. They have the same mindset, they have the same agenda, and they have fruitfully executed this with the digitalization of the world, and in seeking to bring about these control systems, digital money, digital currency, digital passports, and all these things have been put in place. So that tells us exactly where we are in the stream of time.